Are you actually living your life, or is a chemical living it for you? Have you ever noticed that after a night of celebration, the world feels oddly grey the next morning? Or that your morning coffee doesn't give you energy anymore, but just makes you feel less broken? If you've ever felt like your happiness is on a roller coaster you can't control, you're about to find out why. Today, we are opening the ledger of your brain. We are going to look at the psychology and neurobiology of every major substance, from the caffeine in your kitchen to the most dangerous chemicals on the street. I'm going to prove to you that you aren't actually creating joy when you use a substance. You are simply taking out a high-interest loan from your future self. Stay with me, because the chapter on the Tuesday blues will explain a psychological phenomenon that might be ruining your weeks without you even knowing it. To understand addiction, we must understand the dopamine bank. Your brain has a limited reserve of neurotransmitters: dopamine for motivation, serotonin for mood, oxytocin for connection. In a healthy state, your brain is like a conservative investor. It releases small, sustainable amounts of these chemicals when you achieve a goal or hug a loved one. But substances don't invest, they loot. When you introduce a drug into your system, you aren't adding new money to the bank. You are breaking into the vault. You are spending your next 10 days of happiness in a single afternoon. According to the World Health Organization, substance abuse is a fundamental disruption of this internal economy. The WHO warns that substance abuse is not just a physical habit, it is a fundamental disruption of this internal economy. It is a hack of the very software that makes us human. Now let's start with the most popular drug in human history, caffeine. Billions of people believe they need coffee to wake up, but psychologically, caffeine is a fraud. It doesn't charge your battery. Inside your brain, a chemical called adenosine builds up all day, acting like a sleep pressure gauge. Caffeine is a molecular imposter that blocks the receptors for adenosine. Caffeine doesn't charge your battery. It's a molecular imposter that blocks the receptors for adenosine. It simply hides the low battery light on your dashboard. The WHO warns that excessive caffeine disrupts the circadian rhythm, leading to a state of permanent chemical debt. When the caffeine breaks down, the adenosine that's been waiting at the door floods in all at once. That's the crash. You take another cup to pay the interest on the first. Then we have nicotine. It is one of the fastest acting stimulants known. Within 7 seconds of inhalation, it hits the brain and triggers a dopamine surge. But here is the psychological trap. The stress a smoker feels before a cigarette was actually caused by the withdrawal from the previous one. Nicotine doesn't relax you. It simply briefly stops the agitation that it created itself. It is a perfect loop of psychological slavery disguised as a ritual. Now we move to the liquid mask: alcohol. According to the World Health Organization, alcohol is a causal factor in more than 200 disease and injury conditions. Psychologically, alcohol is a depressant that targets your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain. It doesn't give you confidence, it just murders your ability to feel fear. The warmth of the peak is actually your brain's communication lines slowing down, but the debt is paid the next day. Your brain overcorrects by becoming hyperactive. This is glutamate rebound. This is why you wake up with hangxiety, a state of physical and emotional panic. You are paying for last night's relaxation with today's terror. Then there is cannabis. It interacts with the endocannabinoid system, specifically the default mode network, the part of the brain responsible for self-reflection. It makes a bad movie feel like a masterpiece. But the debt is paid in motivation. If your brain gets a peak reward for sitting on a couch, it loses the psychological drive to build a real life. The debt is paid in motivation. The WHO highlights that for many, this leads to a flatness of emotion that can linger for days after consumption. We are now entering the territory of high-risk loans. Cocaine is a powerful stimulant that blocks the reuptake of dopamine. Imagine the dopamine faucet is turned on and someone breaks the handle so it can't be turned off. You feel untouchable, electric, and brilliant, but your brain begins to destroy its own receptors. This is why long-term users feel nothing when they aren't on the drug. You've broken the teller machine. Then there is MDMA, often called the love drug. It forces your neurons to dump their entire lifetime's supply of serotonin in 4 hours. MDMA forces your neurons to dump their entire lifetime's supply of serotonin in 4 hours. It feels like total empathy and connection, but the debt is brutal. This leads to the Tuesday blues. 2 days after use, your brain is physically empty of happiness chemicals. You spent your entire emotional budget on a single Saturday night. Now we enter the takeover. This is the ultimate bankruptcy. Opioids, including fentanyl and heroin, mimic the body's natural painkillers. Endorphins. The WHO has classified this as a global health emergency. These drugs don't just kill physical pain, they kill the pain of existing. They provide a sense of safety so absolute that the brain stops producing its own safety signals. The debt? When the drug is gone, every nerve in your body screams. The world becomes an unbearable place of physical and emotional agony. The brain's survival system is rewritten. The drug becomes as important as oxygen. Then there is methamphetamine. Methamphetamine is a lightning bolt that releases 200% more dopamine than any natural activity. It burns through the brain's circuitry. It gives you energy stolen from your future self until there is no future left to steal from. Not all substances loot the bank in the same way. Psychedelics like psilocybin and LSD don't necessarily rob dopamine. They wire the connections. They allow parts of the brain that never talk to each other to start a conversation. This can lead to what psychologists call ego death. While trials show promise for treating depression, the debt is integration. Processing an experience that shatters your reality can take months of psychological work. On the other end, we have benzodiazepines, sedatives like Xanax. They enhance GABA, the brain's mute button. They are highly addictive. The withdrawal can be physically dangerous, causing seizures. It is a chemical cage built out of the desire for calm. But how do we rebuild? The most incredible discovery in modern psychology is neuroplasticity. Your brain is not a static machine. It is a living organ that can heal. It requires dopamine hygiene. How do you rebuild? First, the fast. You must allow the noise to settle so your receptors can grow back. This is the first step in resetting your internal bank. Second, natural deposits. Sunlight is not just a health tip. It is one of the only ways to stimulate the production of BDNF, the protein that repairs your neurons. Next is deep sleep. This is when your brain's cellular maintenance crew goes to work, repairing the damage from chemical debt and consolidating new, healthy habits. Physical movement is a massive deposit. It triggers natural endorphin release and further boosts neuroplasticity, making your brain more resilient to future high-interest loans. BDNF is the protein that repairs your neurons. These natural deposits are the only sustainable way to rebuild your vault. Finally, there is real connection. Oxytocin from genuine human relationships is the ultimate stabilizer for a chaotic reward system. It provides the security that substances only pretend to offer. The goal of psychology isn't to never feel down. The goal is to build a life where you don't need a chemical to feel okay. Ask yourself, what is the interest rate on this feeling? True freedom is having a vault that is full because you earned every bit of joy through living, not through chemistry. Every high was just a loan. If this video helped you understand the ledger of your own mind, please share it. Keep your vault full, and I'll see you in the next video.